Vaffanculo! What the fuck?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Backtrack Cinema. In this video, we'll be ranking all 3 Punisher movies. Get some popcorn, get a drink, get comfy, and let's talk the Punisher films. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're doing all 3 Punisher films, where I'll be ranking all 3 films. So let me know in the comments below what you think of all 3 Punisher films, how you'd rank them, and we'll have a great discussion. Talk some Punisher. You know, Punisher's always been one of my favorite comic book characters. So all these films have some fun to be had, but I have a clear order. I didn't have to think too hard about all 3 of these films. And I recently reviewed the Thomas Jane Punisher film from 2004, so if you like, you can go check that out. So coming in at number 3 is The Punisher from 1989.
Every day the children of God is going to cost you money.
Now, I do enjoy a lot of what happens in this movie, guys. I think Dolph Lundgren's definitely a decent Punisher for its time. He definitely has the size. He has the, he was a karate champion. He has that physicality. He knows how to fight, different fighting styles. And this movie is, you could say, is like a martial arts film. It has a lot of martial arts in it, so if you like that kind of film, I think you'll enjoy it. But I think this movie needed to show the origin story. They imply it, and I think it was filmed, but they cut it out of the film. But I think I wanted to see Frank Castle, as this, veteran cop, because there's a nice little backstory that Louis Gossett Jr. goes into. But I think we needed to see that more than imply it. The movie's tone is very campy, using a lot of puns, going for this real comic book over-the-top tone. But I do think there's a lot of good action sequences in this movie, especially the fight sequences. And being directed by Mark Goldblatt, a real veteran editor, a guy who edited T2 and edited all these fantastic action movies through the 80s and the 90s. Some of the greatest action movies this guy was in the editing room doing the editing for. So I thought I was going to see a better edited film. I don't think it's terrible by any means. I think a lot of the action scenes are cut well, actually. But it's really just that campy, over-the-top tone that brings it down a bit. The villains are not much to be had here. They're not really fleshed out. They're just there. They're just serviceable. And this is, more the beginning of Dolph Lundgren's career. And with Dolph Lundgren, you really got to find a director who knows how to use him. Sylvester Stallone is a guy who really knows how to use Dolph Lundgren. I think he's okay in this. There's times where I think his acting is really good. And there's other times where I don't think it's so good in this. But definitely a decent Punisher, I would say. And the one interrogation scene where he gets caught and he's in prison, and there's that one line that Louis Gossett Jr. says, you're sick, right? And then Dolph Lundgren snaps at him and says, no, I'm not.
What the fuck you call 125 murders in 5 years? Huh?
Work in progress.
Right? It's actually a really good emotional scene. So I gotta give credit for Dolph for that. There's it was a pretty good emotional scene. But for as far as watching this, if I want to go back to just shut my brain off, have it in the background kind of action movie, this movie definitely works. It definitely works. Coming in at number 2 is Punisher Warzone. Now, this movie has the greatest looking Punisher, I will say. I think the look of Ray Stevenson's chiseled, very weathered kind of look, is perfect Punisher. I think the Punisher looks fantastic in this. The opening scene to this is just badass, where he's just killing everyone at this dinner. And it also leads into a great setup for this character, where he accidentally kills one of the good guys, an FBI agent undercover. That is a great place to take this character. At the same time, you're almost questioning, well, would Frank Castle be that sloppy? It just makes him stop and think, kind of like, what have I become? Have I become what I am out to destroy? And it makes him just pause and think. And there's a great relationship with the person he killed's daughter that he starts having with, and his widow and stuff like that. who wants to protect them. He just wants to do something good out of this. And again, the villains in this, they're just over the top. They're campy. And this is what really brought this movie down. Shut your brain off. You know, you can have a good time with this. I think it slows down a bit. I think it slows down a lot. I think we could have used some more action in between, but definitely a good time. I could still have a good time. I don't think it's as bad as the ratings saying what people make this movie out to be. I think Ray Stevenson is a great Punisher, but it all comes down to the script and stuff like that. Good first act, but could have been better. But easily coming at number 1 is The Punisher from 2004. Now, this movie just had it all for me. It had the origin story I really liked, going back to see Frank Castle's family getting killed, and they wipe out his whole family. One of the best action sequences in this movie, and seeing the transition from Frank Castle to the Punisher. And the whole movie is more of an origin setup. It's just too bad we never got a second movie and a third movie. Thomas Jane, great as the Punisher. You see where he lacks any emotion when he starts turning into that Punisher character. The action sequences are great. I think, again, with all these movies, the villains are weak, and I think John Travolta is another weak villain, which, you know, brings this movie down a bit. But overall, great film. A great action film, not just a comic book action film, but a throwback film to more like a Western film. You know, it has that Western kind of feel to it. You even see this with a lot of the gunfights he has. And you get other characters to care about in this. Like, you get the people in this apartment that have taken a liking to the Punisher there. And the fight against the Russian is hilarious. It's a great action sequence in this. It's just a lot of great action sequences in this, I find. A decent third act for my money, and then you get a really nice shot at the end of the film where, you know, call me the Punisher, Frank Castle's dead, you know, the criminals will come to know me well, and all that kind of stuff. And it ends it great for someone else to pick up the mantle and do a sequel to this. So great film, great Punisher film. I think this is underrated. I think it's a lot better Marvel movie than some other Marvel movies that we have gotten. I just don't think it has enough eyes on it. I don't think gets the credit it deserves, but it's become like this little cult classic. It's got its followers, if you know what I mean. And yeah, great film. That is my favorite Punisher film. But what about you guys? Where would you rank the Punisher films? Where would you rank this film? What is your favorite Punisher film? Do you like the Netflix show on Netflix with John Berthenol? I know he's coming back for a Daredevil movie, and so that should be a lot of fun. Be excited to see that one. But let me know in the comments, and we'll have a good discussion about it. And don't forget to click on the related content right here. Send you down the rabbit hole to other stuff on my channel. My name is Jason. This is Backtrack Cinema. I will see you on the next video, and I will see you in the movies, man. Cheers.